Okay, guys, alternate ending. Take 43.
With so many movies on the net and TV, it's kinda hard being up and film savvy. Do you catch a show while you're on the go? And how do you know what to keep or what to throw? How do you know what to keep or
Boom.
Important step.
Yes. All right, here we go.
By the way, if we are not done by 7:30, I'm going to take a 5-minute break.
Oh, we're getting
We're gonna be good.
Yeah, let's do it.
Famous last words.
Welcome to Alternating. We're discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I'm film school dropout Rob Jarasinski. Across from me is our casual moviegoer Kara Jarasinski. And joining us via Zoom, our critic in residence, Tim Brayton, with Friday the 13th having just passed by. And Kara, you and I just watched Doctor Strange in the Multiverse, a scary, non-horror film. In my opinion, we thought it would be appropriate to revisit other scary movies that aren't horror films with our top 5.
Yeah.
We did indeed.
Yeah, I think Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness definitely had some Sam Raimi qualities to it. Tim, I actually read your review of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and I agreed that this is like there were some like while Raimi served as a good shepherd of the Marvel house style, if you will, there was definitely some Raimi in there.
There was. I think there was less than the pre-release hype had led me to hope there would be. Yeah. And it is certainly backloaded, the Raiminess.
It is backloaded. It typically waited for the third act to really get there. But there were some it's definitely where we could probably have it could be our next Pass the Popcorn spoiler discussion, because there are a lot of things that happen in that film that are not quite reckoned with, I feel. But yes,
you know what I'm reckoning with.
Basically, if shit happens in a multiverse, we don't give a crap about those people.
That is certainly part of it, or potentially even in our own universe if they are not a protagonist.
Correct.
I personally am reckoning with bringing our 7-year-old with us.
She's fine. She seemed fine.
Is she though?
Yeah.
I wasn't fine.
This is the correct amount of horrifying imagery for a 7-year-old, I would say. I would have totally eaten this movie.
It is like super gory. There are some
pish and tush. There's no gore in this at all.
Oh gosh. There is gore left and right. There's really
the eyeball is kind of in the vicinity of gore, but
I had forgotten about the eyeball.
Yeah, it started strong.
It started strong with the eyeball, and I was like, oh, and then yeah, there was a lot of gore. There were a lot of really intense kills.
Can I be honest? There's some special effects that I won't spoil. However, I believe there is Evil Dead does some of the practical effects make up better.
I will also not spoil the special effects. I will say that the featured zombie,
yes,
and that's all I'll say about it, felt substantially less convincing to me than the zombies in $100,000 movie from 40 years ago. Yes, agreed.
Yes. Yeah.
The moment that happened, the first thing that ran through my mind, Tim, was imagining you being like, "Oh Christ!" Like I could hear you saying,
"Oh come on!
Oh come on! Oh Christ!" Was that your reaction?
By that point in the movie, I think I was more just at the non-verbal vocalization. So it's probably more just like,
I don't know. It was a little groan, a little moan.
We can save it. Like if we're interested, I feel like we can have a little spoiler episode on that with the next Pass the Popcorn. But we're here to talk about other movies. I don't know if this one would have qualified. My list is pretty strong.
I don't think it is.
It's pretty strong.
Mine's so scary.
I think there's going to be things.
I think my list is bad. So what do you guys think of that?
Ooh, a twist. I want to also apologize a little bit in advance.
You haven't planned anything for my birthday.
Also for that. I was just going to say, if I do seem a little off, I pretended yesterday, Tim, to be 22 at a bonfire. And so if I seem maybe a little lower energy, that is why I am not 22. And
so was this bonfire exclusively populated by 90-year-olds? And is that how you were able to successfully pretend?
No, they were in my age vicinity, and I think we were all feeling a little under the weather today. But what has happened? I don't know. Once you hit where we are in this life stage,
you mixed too many things. So Tim, I'm gonna run through.
No, I don't actually. No, wait.
Yes.
No, wait.
I'm not gonna run through quantities. I'm gonna run through.
No, but what
it was.
Here's the thing
that was consumed.
that I'm worried about.
Okay.
I'm worried that I don't want to know what you're going to say.
Okay, so it started with a margarita Fun.
Okay.
Very
it was
nice.
in a can.
Fun. Yeah,
so it was
margarita
like
in a can.
low volume.
No. It was
Yeah,
12.5%.
Oh, don't go into those percents.
Yeah.
I don't want to know that either.
Then it was a pina colada.
Oh boy.
Which
In a can, still in the can.
In a can. I put that thing down. That did not taste. That
I know,
would
and
taste
I drank
strong.
yours because I was.
So now we're getting into quantities. I didn't realize you.
Oh, I can't
took that.
waste it.
Sure.
I can just throw it away.
And then there is Carrie not remembering that she also drank half a bottle of
no, I
sparkling
did not.
rosé.
No, I did not.
She doesn't remember
I left
that.
that there. I left
It's
that
not
there.
true.
I didn't. I would never have done that.
Yeah.
half a bottle?
No, I did not. You're exaggerating.
Sparkling rosé.
I feel like that the half a bottle would be enough to put me under these days, like setting aside the canned
The
pina
canned
colada,
other
which-
beverages.
Which incidentally, can of pina colada is the thing that I would have when I'm deep into the night of drinking. I would not lead off with it.
Yeah. It was strong.
It was really strong.
It had 2+. They said on the can 2+ shots of rum. And,
Oh, it did.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
And I could feel that.
It's the plus that got you.
Yeah.
I guess so. I don't know.
When's the last
bender
that you've been on? I know you were on like a
Me?
honey wine kick for a while or something, like
Honey
mead.
wine.
Yeah, mead.
But when was the last
Yeah.
bender I was on?
Yeah.
Like 2010.
Okay.
Oh wow,
I
you're so
I
restrained.
get massively fucked up by hangovers. I cannot have them. They ruin my week.
Yeah, there's enough things happening in our lives where we probably don't need like the handicap either. But yeah, we keep doing it to ourselves.
I'll tell you what happens though, Tim. What happens to me is in that moment when I'm sitting around the campfire and I'm that's like ecstasy for me. Like that's just pure joy. Like people laughing, chatting, the smell of burning
I thought you
wood.
meant ecstasy, the club drug. I'm now disappointed to hear that you're really with your
Oh.
emotional state.
I have not partaken in that, but I just get so swept up into it, and I'm like, oh, I get like YOLO, and then immediately this morning I was like, man,
Just say YOLO.
did I say YOLO?
Are you 26 years old?
I told you.
She tries to
I
be.
do-
She manages a lot of 20-somethings, and now she's trying to like fit in.
I am. I do.
Not. First off, the kids no longer say YOLO.
Oh, they
so
don't?
You're trying to seem young, but you're just going to seem like an out-of-touch middle-aged dilettante.
Shoot. Do people do the one that I've been doing lately is like perf. So like they're like, hey Carrie,
That's not
I did
even
this
a
thing,
saying.
and then I'm like, hey,
I
perf.
don't think that's a thing.
Just
No.
quit trying to make
Oh no.
perf happen.
Like, hey, let's join the sesh.
No.
No.
Sus is something you could say.
Sus.
Yeah.
What's a sus?
That's sus.
Or
Suspect.
suspicious. Or
Suspicious,
or
yeah.
suspect.
Why would I ever say that to somebody at work?
Like if they hand you some slides
I
that,
don't know.
that are
This
sus.
this TNR report seems pretty sus.
Okay.
Bam.
I
Yeah.
don't feel
Work it in.
myself using
Work it in tomorrow. That's your
I'm
goal
gonna try.
for tomorrow.
Okay.
That's everybody's
I
listening
one
goal.
time ever said the GOAT, which is an acronym for the greatest of all time. And I said it in the form of the sentence, I don't think I could carry off using the GOAT as a slang term. And the person I was with was so viscerally offended by the words that came out of my mouth that he begged me to never use it again. So that's where I am with using the young people slang. So I am critiquing you, Carrie, out of a place of love and wisdom, not of haughtiness.
I want to
appreciate
tie
that.
this back to fitting in, and also someone had said, like we've reached like certain points, and I feel like we hit that like last week, Care, because you don't have to worry about young slang in the group that we were in watching Men. We finally feel like we've made it in the critics circle, at least in Chicago. We're starting to get invites to A24 films with just critic only screenings. Usually we've been to critic screenings before, but it's typically like mixed with general audience contest winners, that sort of thing. A very unruly crowd. But for Men, last week we drove down to Chicago for a screening of that, and yeah, it's the company.
It's your top anticipated.
It was my top anticipated. I'll get more into my thoughts on the movie at Pass the Popcorn next week. But yeah, interesting crowd. You were brought up, Tim. You
mentioned this. You texted me about this.
Yeah, this was like,
was weird.
It
was it any of the people I wronged when I was still living
no,
in
this
Chicago
is
doing film festivals?
a gentleman who writes for, and I thought I remembered his
name's
name.
Peter.
Is it really?
I don't know. Just
No,
say his name's Peter.
Anarchy something.
Screen Anarchy.
ScreenAnarchy.com, writes for them. And he was like, who are you with? I was like, alternating, but I'm not a critic. I'm just a podcast host. But our critic in residence, so to speak, is Tim Brayton. He's like, oh, Antagony and Ecstasy. Yeah, I used to print those up and show them to all my students. And I was like, that's That's really cool.
Do.
I wasn't going to tell Tim.
Still
I
do
just
it.
felt like it
You
was
should
too,
still do
too
it.
nice.
I don't believe he has students anymore. They're all
Well,
They're
then
all
he should print them
middle-aged
up
now.
and just hand them out to members of his family
but
as mementos.
really cool opportunity. A screening room like no other. Didn't know it exists. It's on the 16th floor of a building in downtown Chicago.
Oh, 70 East Lake.
Yeah.
Good screening room. Best screening room I've ever been in my life.
Oh, you
What?
saw something there, huh?
I've seen 8 or 10 things there.
I
Yeah.
was not comfortable at all.
We
There
thought-
was no
Are you
lumbar.
crazy?
We
They're
thought we
so-
were. Yeah.
They're so soft.
Yeah, but there was no lumbar support. I felt
That's
like
true. There's not.
Yeah.
That's true. There's
I
not.
felt like I was kind of sinking in.
You know my story about how I almost slammed the door into Roger Ebert's face twice on 2 trips to a bathroom?
Yes.
It's that was the screening room.
that's
It was
the
that bathroom.
Well, so full circle. Go ahead, Care.
Okay, so here's what happened. And I love the best part of the story is I have no idea how I was the one that actually knew this. But as we were walking in, the gal was like, oh, yeah, just to let you know, like this is where Roger Ebert used to screen movies. And we were like, cool, that's really cool. So we go in, we sit down, and then this woman comes in and sits down in front of us. I'm not going to spread any rumors, but I think this person might be a bit of a smoker. She was coughing through most of the movie. But the whole time I'm like, I know this lady. I recognize this lady. And it was Mrs. Ebert.
Well, I hope she's a smoker.
I can neither-
Otherwise, Mrs. Ebert can now sue us for slander.
That's true.
I can neither confirm nor deny it was
It
said Chaz Ebert, but
I mean,
yeah.
they have the same face.
I don't know. I didn't get a good look. I wasn't making eye contact.
Oh, I did. And then, Tim, I tried to engage in the elevator on the way out because I knew who it was. It didn't.
my.
It didn't go well.
I can't let you guys go to critic screenings. I'm feeling very
Carrie.
tense in my body.
Speaking
right now.
of, well, number one, most people I don't think. Well, I think she had a plus. She had a +1.
Yeah, she was with a friend.
But yeah, I think most people don't bring. It's not a couple screening. The other thing that doesn't typically happen with a critic screening, I think, is not a lot of people jumping at the jump scares. Besides Carrie, whose feet went like flying up multiple times, talking about top 5 scary movies that aren't. I think this one
This
is
is a
horror.
horror. This is a
yeah,
horror.
this is definitely a horror.
We're talking about the movie Men, just so you know. This has been a very rambly story.
I still feel very like my body is just.
Oh yeah, we're selling.
I'm
our name.
embarrassing you.
shame
Yeah,
right
we're-
I'm
now.
embarrassing you. No, I didn't say anything weird. I think I was just like, I think I really like your hair. Or I said something.
Oh yeah,
like
that's
that.
not weird. That's not weird.
It was really pretty though.
Certainly not weird to say to a black woman.
Oh, is it? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
you
think
just,
she
you just
didn't
avoid all
respond.
conversation.
Did you ask to touch it? Did you ask to touch her hair, Carrie?
No, but I just thought it was a compliment. She was lovely. But again, did not engage, so didn't go far. We didn't exchange numbers.
Well, since
darn.
that one is a scary movie that is a horror movie, let's talk about some horror movie or non-horror movies that are scary, Care.
We should.
Thank you, Rob,
Of course.
for salvaging us out of this swamp, of
spiral.
toxic poison frogs.
But
we were
yes,
living
highly
with.
recommend that screening room. It is one that operates 70 East Lake. It's one that
Well, you can recommend it all you like. It is not. It is an invitation-only screening room.
oh, is it? I thought you could do private parties and stuff. I think you
I
can.
don't. Maybe.
Now you
it's new.
can. I think they're having trouble staying afloat, which is why I'm trying to send them some
Gotcha.
business. But because you wouldn't know they exist otherwise. But yeah, go check out a movie there. Rent a screening there. But yes, go ahead, Kara. Number 5.
Just to finish up, that is the screening room where I saw, among other things, Zero Dark 30.
Okay.
Great room to see Zero Dark 30 in.
All right. Well, I'm gonna scare your faces off. Are you guys ready to be prepared?
So scared.
I think these are movies that you guys have not thought of. And here was my criteria. So I had to have been horrified as a child, or the first time that I saw this, I had to have been horrified. I had to have closed my eyes, not able to watch it.
Why just as a child?
Well, no,
Oh, okay.
Just-
All right, I'm just
just-
curious. I'm just asking questions.
Okay. All right. I'll get there. Had to have been horrified about it when I saw it the first time, and had to have covered my eyes, had to have cringed, had to have had a moment of a bad dream, some sort of really negative reaction to it. But I also had the criteria of I have rewatched it as an adult and the second time around, and I was still horrified the second time. So I was still just as scared as an adult as I was the first time I saw it, child or medium adult.
I know, but I go back to my original question. Still stands. So to qualify, you had to have seen it as a child?
No, I just said a medium adult. I'm saying the first time watch. Some of these I saw
That's
as a child. Some of them I saw when I was in my 20s. and I've
Sure.
rewatched
So
them
if you
again.
watched something yesterday
Yes.
that was scary and not a horror movie, would it make your list? Could it make your list?
Yeah.
Okay.
It could.
Because you made it seem as though
It's-
like you had to be a
I
child.
backed into the criteria after my list, man.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
What makes it not a horror movie?
They're not horror at all. Like I looked on the IMDb, it's like thriller,
Yeah.
sci-fi,
That's tough.
fantasy.
Because IMDb is pretty reckless with their.
But these are not horror. You're not going to think any
Sure.
of these are horror.
But it's not like none of your films show up as horror on
No.
IMDb? Okay.
Not a single one.
I'd have to check mine, to be honest. I didn't want to because I'd get pissed off at IMDb because, again, they just assign every freaking genre to every movie, it seems.
I also realized I think I was kind of like a weird kid because when I start to notice the themes in all of my movies, they're very similar. So the things that were really troubling to me were like smoking.
That's good.
I am so excited
I'm
for your
excited about
number
your
one
list.
to just be some glamorous 40s romance where they're lighting up all the time.
I don't know why.
Casablanca, scariest movie you've ever seen.
It really bothered me as a kid. Bullying really freaked me out.
You know
and-
what's even scarier about the smoking in Casablanca is that Bogart died of lung cancer. So
Oh,
you're
that is
just
scary.
watching him being murdered in front of you.
IRL?
Yeah, that's how he died.
Oh, man.
She was trying to drop more of that hip
Maybe it was
language.
liver- it was a cancer. It might have been liver cancer, but he also drinks alcohol. in
Uh-oh.
Casablanca, so there you
Well, and
go.
obviously I've got that problem too with the canned daiquiris. So, yeah. And then the last thing is just a general loss of skin. I think as a kid and even now,
Oh,
that's problematic.
That's a dead giveaway on your
It's not.
pick.
It's
Yeah.
not. No, I mean, it crosses into many of my movies.
Okay, so there's a theme.
There's themes. There's
of-
themes.
of-
Skin.
So skinless people smoking. on Carrie's list.
Every single one of my movies has a skin theme. I just realized it now.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's my criteria. Do you guys want to do yours, or do you want me to just jump right in?
I will. I
Do you
will
have
do
different
mine.
criteria?
As I said, I don't have a list that I feel
Other
is
than
very
skin?
good. What?
Carrie was asking if we have other criteria, and I said other than skin.
No, I actually don't. Skin is my only criterion. I didn't even have smoking. So, no, it was tough for me because a couple things. It sort of comes at it from two different directions. One is I don't scare easily in movies. Like it's actually just a thing. So there are not that many movies that scare me, period. And most of the ones that do are comfortably like within the central examples of horror. Problem number two is I think I have a very generous, even Catholic definition of horror. So like lots of things that you could argue, well, that's not really horror. I'd be like, but it's close enough. Bring it on in. So for me, the finding the movies that I felt clearly, unequivocally do not count as horror was super tough, honestly. And so I have ended up with a list that I think is more, in some ways, unsettling or discomforting than scary. And the other thing, I really wanted to take horror sort of seriously and scared seriously. So this is things that are within the horror genre as horror, not just things that are horrifying. So there's not like man's inhumanity to man. There's no films about the Rwandan genocide on my list, even though that is certainly horrifying and certainly not horror. Nor the Holocaust or things like that. And I feel like I spell that out as a criterion because for a minute I was thinking I might have to go there, and then I didn't.
Well, good
But
for you. Yeah, I
Came close.
didn't have enough in my
Your
collection. Yeah, exactly to be able to just say like it's movies that are non-traditional or not horror that put me in that kind of scared vibe. So you'd watch it and you wouldn't think anything of it, but for something about it,
Yep.
like I have a few that I think had an atmosphere of scare for me, and like I may have misjudged it as a child or something, or because it was the age. So I have some of the things that you were describing, Carrie, but I haven't I can think of one movie of yours that is a horror movie.
Watcher in the Woods.
Exactly. So it's kind of like
But I couldn't pick that because that is horror.
that is true
'Cause
horror.
that is horror.
Yes.
Correct. But I have movies like that where upon looking back, it's like it still creates a little bit of like nostalgia horror for me, or like feelings. So I have two on there that are like that, and then I do have a lot of that don't show up on Tim's list. It sounds like, but like the horrors of humanity kind of things,
jeez.
because they scare me. It's like I'm legit scared.
This
This is
is
top 5 scary movies. Like
It can't be like climate change movies. Here we go.
I'm not-
If an inconvenient truth is on your list, I'm going to fucking end the Zoom call right then and there. I swear before God.
It may or may not be.
He has
Oh
what's
my
that?
No, it's not. It's not.
He has. All right, I'm gonna call it right now. He has. What's that Netflix movie that just came out? Like Under the Tuscan Sky.
The Tuscan Sun.
What was that one with that just came out with the gal from Hunger Games?
The Bubble.
What is it called?
I don't know.
Jennifer
what you're talking
Lawrence?
about.
No,
Yeah, Jennifer
no,
Lawrence.
not. I don't have that.
Oh, Don't Look Up.
Don't look
Yes,
up.
thank you.
No, I don't have that.
Okay.
But that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. There are some end of world type scenarios that, or there are circumstances that scare me, and like I don't want it's almost like a little bit of a list of movies I just don't want to watch again because it bothered me so much. It scared me so much, or like the concept scared me. The fear. There was genuine fear.
Mine are genuine fear, but
I have fear
tinkle
in all
fear.
of these.
Mine's tinkle fear. Yours is like dread fear. Mine is like pee your pants fear. So
All right.
all
Well,
right.
let's start with just a little dribble of the tink
Just
in your pants with your number 5.
Okay, I sure will. And this one starts off with this is probably the most obvious pick, but I had to have it on here. Still to this day, I've only peeped through my fingers at this scene, so I've like sort of seen it, but not 100%. But there were a couple elements about this movie that horrified me as a kid. Could not watch all of the parts, and one of them is Ronald Lacey. Still, if I saw him today on a street, would go running in the other direction. And then the other is somebody's getting their face melted off upon opening the Ark.
Wait, so what's the question?
There was no question. I'm telling you my movie. My number 5 is Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I said you gave it away. That was the movie I was thinking of when I
It
thought.
could have been. There's skin peels in all of the Indiana Jones movies. And again, all of my movies have skin peels.
I think
Okay.
that's-
All right.
Sure.
This is so. Do you know who Ronald Lacey is?
I had no.
Tote. His name's Tote, I think, in the movie. He's the one that's like, he wears those little tiny glasses.
Sure.
And he comes in and he takes the iron and like stamps the iron. Or sorry, he like burns his hand or whatever too.
Yeah. To be fair, a lot of audience members had the Joneses. Like,
did they?
Or some Indiana Jones flicks. Yeah.
See?
I think Temple of Doom was a little bit more on the scary side.
For the record, this is my number 1.
What? Wow.
Amazing.
Way to mess up Tim's list.
Was it also Ronald Lacey's little
Yeah,
glasses?
It's actually mostly the snake scene. There's also the like dead corpses that we see sort of flopping in, like in the underground catacombs. There's like a scene where there's like monsters that not monsters, but like skeletons that sort of lurch forward and snakes come out of the eye sockets of skulls. And there's the opening scene where we see Alfred Molina get like spikes in his head. And I mean, sort of to Carrie's point, like this scared me, the dickens out of me when I was a child. And that's sort of where I had my big visceral response to this film. And I watched it obsessively as a child because of how scary it was. And that's why I sort of made the joke about bringing your 7-year-old to Multiverse of Madness. When I was 7, I was like devouring movies like Raiders specifically because they freaked me out and fucked me up a little bit. So that's where I was as a child. I don't find it scary anymore, partially because I'm not 7, partially because I've seen the movie like 80 times. And that's what it is. But like, no, this movie, it's got some good haunted house shit going on. And unlike all the other films on my list, is like objectively drawing from horror tropes, which a lot of them are sort of not really doing that. And that's kind of why, again, I feel my list is not super good. But no, this was my number 1. This was the easiest. When we picked the topic, I wrote this one at number 1 immediately.
The amazing thing about this, Tim, is you're telling me these scenes. This has made my list, and I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about because I'm so scared by that point. I've never seen a snake come out of an eyeball.
Oh, it's good. Well, a skull's eye socket, not an eyeball.
Okay, or yeah, sorry, coming out of a socket. Like that part, when you said the snakes, I was like, oh, you mean when he falls in that snake pit? That was so
there's
scary.
also the snake pit. That's also scary.
Horrifying. Worst fear.
Why did it have to be snakes?
Why? So I haven't actually even seen the parts that you're talking about because they're too scary. And I still, as an adult, have watched it so many times and I still close my eyes. So
I like that. You should watch it with your eyes open. It's pretty good shit. It's pretty
I
fucked up.
know. So good pick. Not on your list, Rob?
No, not on my list. I stayed away from Indiana Jones, but I accept it as a movie that could be scary, and I agree that they are not meant to be horror films. So, Tim, since we took your number 1, do you want to save your number 5, or do you want to?
I'll go in with my number 5.
Do it.
So, again, my list is maybe more about films that I find sort of disquieting and irksome, and get me a little concerned about where things are going. And this is in particular a film that plays around with, is the protagonist losing his mind? The answer is yes. And at what point does he start losing his mind? And that one's a little bit trickier to say. But basically we see like this kind of strange, appalling nightmare imagery sort of creep in on the edges as the character's like maybe losing his grip on sanity, maybe not. But this is the important thing, not in a horror film, which is where I think a lot of this happens in sort of psychological horror. This is in the form of a very sarcastic, like cunning social satire that is also a near future post-apocalyptic sci-fi film. And I'm referring to 1985's Brazil.
Oh, interesting.
By Terry Gilliam, who was certainly a very good director of sort of weird, messed up imagery. And like, there's this thing that sort of happens later in the film, and I won't try to spoil it in case you haven't seen it. But like, we see people in these weird looking baby masks, and that's pretty freaky shit. He starts using wide angle lenses in a way that makes everything seem sort of big and sprawled out and sweaty and like stretchy in some uncomfortable ways. So it's definitely a film that I think, again, it unnerves me. Does it scare me? Not exactly, but it certainly feels like it's playing in the fields of horror, but is clearly not at any point in its running time a horror film, even though it gets there by its third act. Third act is a pretty good, just like fucked up ride. It's
funny. I thought if we were playing like name that movie game, I was gonna go with. I thought you were talking about Jacob's Ladder, which I thought would have been.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Good entry.
Which I have both not seen and I believe is usually considered horror, is it not?
I don't know. I mean, it is by a horror. Is that a King? Is that a Stephen King?
No, that's Adrian Lyne.
Oh, okay.
It's scary.
The writer. It's not Stephen King. I don't know who wrote it.
Very scary, though. Very scary. I would think that's horror. It's like horror drama. Yeah, that one's scary.
I have one then at my number 5. I'll start with my children's picks because upon revisiting, I realized maybe not as scary. Like what I used to find scary were things like thunder.
Oh, yeah.
You know, thunder
will get you.
Things like a horse that must go through mud and the horse does not make it.
Oh, wait, it dies?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Back then, it was probably a real horse, too.
Yeah, Atreyu. I feel bad for Atreyu's horse.
Wait, it really did die?
I think so in the film.
Oh, man.
I don't know if it died.
The horse doesn't die.
It doesn't? He gets him out of the mud?
He saves him?
No. I mean, the physical horse that was on set they didn't drown a horse to make the never-ending story.
That would have been a very
and also spoiler alert for the never-ending story. Can we spoil the never-ending story?
I think it's
no.
okay.
I've never seen it.
Oh, you've never seen the never-ending story?
You've never seen the never-ending story.
It's too scary. The dog that flies. Is that the dog that flies around with the big eyeballs?
Yeah.
I cannot watch that.
It's not a dog. It's a gamork.
It's a what's a gamork? Is it like part dragon, part dog?
It's a talking wolf.
Okay.
Oh, you're talking about the luck. Oh no, the luck dragon is friendly. The big like weird like ferret-looking dog creature.
Yeah.
That's a good character. He's not scary.
He appears scary. Like the eyes are just not proportionate, and that doesn't work for me. So I've always avoided it because it looked too scary.
Yeah, but this movie was one that I watched under the covers. And
what's scary about it?
Well, it's like I said,
the horse in the mud.
And for you, Carrie, you mentioned bullying. Like I believe, if I recall, that like it kind of starts off that way. Or
the opening scene is bullying. Yeah. I actually, just for the record, I just reviewed this for a Patreon request.
That's right.
And on Sunday, the 15th, opened it to all listeners, all readers. You don't have to be a subscriber to read my review now. So that review's fresh on the site. Check it out if you haven't. But yeah, it is definitely a movie that is chock-a-block full of things that are really fucking spooky if you're a child. And I was spooked by them as a child, in fact.
Well, there you go. I like that you're on board with this.
Is it PG?
Yeah, it could be
totally.
even G. Oh, no, it is PG.
No, it's PG.
Yeah. But yeah, there's what I love about it is it's the opening kid bully, doesn't fit in, loves to read, finds this, hides in this broom closet. And Tim just watched this, so probably a little bit more fresh.
He hides in the attic at school. Comes across a book, or brought a book from home. I don't remember where he steals it from the strange antiquarian bookseller.
And then storm clouds start forming as he's reading. Reality between what he's reading and his reality kind of start blending together, and he may or may not be becoming part of the story in some fashion.
So is it his imagination? Don't tell me. No, but tell me. Is it his imagination, or is it really happening?
This is something we should watch with the kids.
Okay.
I would say, and I can say this without spoiling anything, it is explicitly and necessarily his imagination, yes.
Okay.
Oh, interesting. See, I am excited to revisit this because I wonder if there is subtext. Is there some sort of commentary that's being said, or is it just a traditional kids movie? But it is Wolfgang Peterson.
Oh, no, I think that there's text.
Yeah.
That is what I was just making a joke about. But
see, these jokes don't hit because I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
I know. That's what's great about it for me, because I know exactly what I was doing, and you don't.
And everybody else that's seen it does too. I need to know, does it stand up, Tim? How many stars did you give it?
I gave it 3.5 stars.
Yay.
Generous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at us. We're all kind of lining up.
And I would say it is definitely a fuck you up movie. Some of the things that really bothered me when I saw it, the one and only time I saw it as a child, it just has this weird sense of like empty night skies just kind of floating there, and you feel like you're lost in the universe in a way that I found very uncomforting. And that holds up for sure.
Because the villain, right, if I recall too, is it's just more of this like sickness in the world, or like.
The villain is nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing.
It is the absence of thing.
Yeah, and so as a kid, like
that's a lot. That's heavy.
Yeah, I like nothing tangible. That's you. How do you fight that? You know, and
exactly. You don't. Yeah. How do you? This is the story.
Yeah.
You don't. You will die. They all die at the end. Everyone dies.
Oh, all right. We're gonna watch it with the kids.
And then they eat the horse.
And then their skin falls off.
And then their skin falls off. So speaking of skin, I'm going to go to my number 4.
And they smoke.
Oh, wait, do they swear? Do they swear and smoke? Because I had problems with that as a kid, too.
I don't think they actually swear or smoke, although the bullies might get in some mild curses.
Okay, all right. Well, this next one has lots of swears. It has lots of bullying. I hated this movie so much, and I was so scared. I don't even know how to describe this movie in any sort of way. So there was this kid who visually does not fit in. And so on top of the fact that he visually doesn't fit in at school, he has superpowers. And he also doesn't have any family, which I remember just being like, like all of his family has died. So now he's stands out at school, can't fit in. He's got these weird powers, and a deer dies. And I just remember being like, I hate this movie. And I was so scared, and I kept closing my eyes and cringing and leaving. I would never watch this movie again, but I did watch it beginning to end. And this is 1995's Powder.
Oh, sure.
I just was like, and it was scary.
There are some scary elements in Powder. I think when they first find Powder in the basement, is it Mary Steenburgen?
Yes.
Okay. That is a bit scary. Like, it's people under the stairs kind of vibes, like creepy basement. Obviously, Powder turns out to be like the sweetest
and kindest person. Yeah, but you're scared when you first see him.
There's like, you're not sure what's happening in this household. There's the storms again, and then there's bullying for sure.
I can't remember, why is his skin so white?
Because he's been living inside. And albino.
Is he albino?
Yes.
I wasn't sure. Okay.
The lightning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was because of his power. Again, I would never want to watch it again.
Sadly, that movie has, I believe, been kind of...
I was trying to decide if I was going to be enough of an asshole to bring this up and make it.
The director has kind of ruined this film.
To be fair,
Victor
he had
Saliva?
already been convicted of the crime before this movie was made. He had been convicted and served time in prison.
Wait, so what? Maybe don't tell me the crime. Is it a bad one?
Yeah, it's a bad.
It's pretty bad. It's one of the bad crimes.
Oh boy.
It's not one of the good crimes.
Okay. Well, I already have.
Let me tell you the remarkably tasteless joke. Oh my word! I'm going to say this joke out loud. The joke I was going to lead into was, it also would have been scary, Carrie, would be being a prepubescent boy on the set with this director.
Oh,
Yeah, actually,
boy.
Carrie, she said, "Oh boy," that's where I was going to go with my joke.
And I did not mean to say "oh boy" just now.
What
this is
was
the
your
third-
joke going to be, Rob?
It was going to play off of Carrie's "Oh boy," and I was like,
Oh,
"You better
boy.
believe it," you know.
Oh, jeebers.
That she wouldn't have understood.
Jeepers Creepers, another film by the same director,
Oh,
but
I just-
fewer minors on set, so less
I
opportunity.
can't
for
get
him
away
to,
from this guy.
relapse.
Is he still in jail?
No, he was convicted in 1988, and this movie came out in 95, so he served his time and was then released and then made this movie.
3 years? That's it?
Well, that's 7.
Yeah, I don't know where.
Sorry. I told you it's that margarita's coming back on me with my math here. Well, that's
Apparently.
just too bad.
Still metabolizing your canned pina coladas.
I know, that is just too bad. But that was my number 4, Powder, and I hate it even more now,
Yep.
Mr. Victor.
Okay.
So, Tim, what is your number 4?
So my number 4, unfortunately, is not directed by a directed by a convicted sex offender. So
Oh,
I don't
darn.
get to bring quite the same level of meta horror that Carrie brought in. Again, this one's just more sort of about an overall mood of just like things are wrong, things are broken. It's largely about a character who's in a hotel, and the hotel is just wrong, and it's got weird noises, and everything's bizarrely damp, and there's flies just kind of buzzing around. And by the time the movie's done, you figure out that the reason everything seems so weird in this hotel is that it's actually literally hell. And we've been watching a screenwriter trapped in actual literal hell for the last 2 hours. And that is a very spoilery, but not really, description of the plot of 1991's Barton Fink.
Oh, this is one I haven't seen. You know when people kept coming up with that, I was like, why are people putting a comedy on here?
It is one of their least funny films, It's funny. There's funny in it. But it's also just like, it presents this kind of weirdly gloomy apocalyptic vision of like Los Angeles is literally hell. Like you go to LA, you go to hell, the devil finds you there and you never get out. And that's kind of the plot of the movie. And again, it's clearly not a horror movie. And it doesn't even really have any specific horrifying imagery except for like one scene very near to the end. But it creates this mood of just like sort of being trapped in some place very, very awful. And it doesn't even occur to you there might be a way to get out of it.
Huh. You know, I'd never seen this, and I feel like it would have been better for me not to know that he's trapped in hell.
Thanks, Tim.
I mean, I think you
It's
would
my
hate
fault.
this movie regardless.
Yeah,
to be fair.
probably.
I cannot imagine a world in which either one of you enjoys Barton Fink.
So you felt physically scared, though? The atmosphere made you scared?
None of the films on my list have scared me other than Raiders of the Lost Ark, which last scared me when I still had a single-digit age.
Yeah, I scare real easily.
I scare real hard.
I'm curious, Kara, if my number 4 scared you, or if you've even seen it, to be honest.
I bet it's on my list.
Had I known about directors and the kind of thing that Tim was just talking about, like mood and atmosphere, this director is known for creating kind of quirky, darker atmosphere.
Yep.
And this was a children's film.
Yep.
Oh, wow. You're saying yep a lot. You think it's on...
I think you have Beetlejuice.
Oh, Beetlejuice is a horror film, though, to me. Possibly, but
Okay.
no. But it is from the
I
director.
would call Beetlejuice a horror comedy.
Horror
I think we're
comedy.
going to line up.
It's from the director of
Same as
Beetlejuice,
me.
I think he directed Beetlejuice. I'm talking, is that Tim Burton?
Yeah,
That's Tim Burton.
Okay,
My
I'm
next
talking
one's
about Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
that is not what I have.
But Tim Burton, anything.
I have a Tim Burton.
Yeah, I think I could see there's a case to be made for almost anything Tim Burton because
Pee-wee is the scariest scenario that you've beaten us all. I think Pee-wee Herman is the scariest person that I know.
yeah, it's not like I watched. I mean, I was aware that the television show that Pee-wee had, and I don't remember which. I think the show was first, and then they made this movie.
Yep.
But he's
Are
a
you
very
Pee-wee follower.
He's an eccentric person as well, and it's kind of scary because it's kind of like laughing.
Also, if I'm not mistaken, a convicted sex offender.
Also, yes, yeah.
There's a theme.
There's a
theme.
There is a theme.
Oh boy.
And oh boy, and working much like Victor Salva is still to this day.
I don't.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go down this road at all in any way. But I am just going to say, how is that not the ultimate cancellation? How are you still working?
Timing. I think. Yeah.
People that like we didn't have online then, so like the news articles are gone. Like I don't.
Oh no, the reviews of Powder in 1995 were very conflicted over what to do with the movie because he had a child pornography conviction.
Yeah, I don't know. Same for Pee-wee though, but yeah, he is horrifying. As a kid, he scared me. I could not watch him.
It's the laughter.
He's so jittery.
Yeah, jittery and but over the top where it's like something's wrong. I think, but then you blend that with Tim Burton and the visual styling's kind of lingering and like creepy looks, and then Large Marge,
Who's
the
Large
dinosaur.
Marge?
They were like the truck, she's the truck driver, and
the truck driver whose face goes weird. So I have to say, at one point, it was unclear to me if we were doing movies or scenes in movies that were not horror. And if we were doing scenes in movies that were not horror, I would have absolutely had the Large Marge scene. Because that scene completely fucked me up as a child. I actually find the rest of the movie quite winning and funny. And I'm a little thrown by both of you describing Pee-wee as a horrifying character.
It's just, and there's bullying.
Yeah.
There's bullying as well. It's the quirky nature, and I had not really seen a movie. It's almost a little surreal. Because it's like this.
It's a lot surreal.
Yeah, it's very surreal. And so because of that, like not knowing what that is, it just felt like something was off and didn't sit right with me. So it creeped me out. And this is one where, there were certain scenes, to Tim's point, it's more of a scene by scene, not the whole film is like building tension or anything, but something was off with him to me. And then also there were some choice scenes in there that were a little on the creepier side. So yeah, Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
I will never watch that. Ever, ever, ever. Yeah, I knew he was, something about him just was like, ooh, don't accept the candy. Like, it's that kind of thing. Like, ugh.
Doesn't Twisted Sister do something? And like, I didn't really know what metal was. Like, so that was a little scary when they're like recording the music video with Twisted Sister. Yeah. Something like
that. Yeah. And also, just to clarify, Victor Salvo was convicted of child pornography. Pee-wee Herman was convicted of indecent exposure in a pornographic theater. There were no children involved in Pee-wee Herman's or Paul Rubin's conviction of a sex crime.
I see. So, I mean, that happens.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that could
happen
to anybody.
What are you supposed to do besides start whacking it? I mean, that's why you came to the porn theater.
These are all fair. All fair. Speaking of Tim Burton, I'm going to go to my number 3.
All right.
Are you guys ready for this? This one, I'm with Rob. Jittery people freak me out. Quick movements. This is why I don't like snakes. Quick movements or like worms. I don't like worms when they like flicker around, you know?
Who's the person in your family? Is it you that doesn't like clumps of things or like?
I don't love clumps.
Right.
My sister doesn't like clumps in like beehives, like clusters. She doesn't like clusters.
Right.
I also don't love
So when you say
clusters.
clumps, like I had today earlier a delicious slice of strawberry rhubarb pie with streusel on it. And it had like sort of big clumpy chunks of streusel. Would that qualify as a clump?
No, not your streusel. A clump would be like, like a nest, like again, a beehive is the best example, like a nesty thing with lots of holes, or like if she saw a vase with lots of pimples on it, or not pimples, but
yes, it's that there's that thing.
Dimplies.
It has a name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a thing. All right.
I don't know how
there's
we got here.
Like it's like a phobia that doesn't seem to much predate 2010, but it's like there's like people see pictures of like lotus seeds.
Yes. Yes.
Like photoshopped onto
like
skin.
Like a pomegranate is like pomegranate, like so gross.
Okay.
Yes. But there are no clumps in this movie or clusters in mine. Again, it's just sort of haphazard and jittery. There's a skin thing here again, too. Maybe I just don't like things that are pale. Maybe that's part of it, too. I don't know. As a pale person myself.
Like a therapy session for you. You're getting it all out there.
Yeah, I'm trying to discover myself while I'm here. But yes, this is very haphazard, very pale, very jittery. And I was really, really, really freaked out by Mr. 1, Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
He was scary. I didn't get him.
I could see that.
I didn't vibe with him. Winona Ryder freaked me out. I was worried she was going to get cut like all the time because he has his fingers are
his hands are scissors.
They are. It just seems like a hazard, especially at that time. I was very careful to like hold the right end of the scissor when you pass. And it just felt like this whole situation was out of control. Then when he starts cutting people's hair, I'm worried he's going to cut people. I thought that was scary. The house itself, like that they go off, that he's like hiding out in, is it's like a what do you call a place that's a scary house?
A haunted house.
A haunted house.
You
Exactly.
call it that?
But
He was in jail for 3 years. Sorry.
You call it my mother-in-law's house, am I right?
I
Mother-in-law
don't remember
joke.
that line.
It's not a line. I just did that.
This is okay. This is Johnny Depp too.
Because I was tapping into mother-in-laws are scary people.
I see.
As you should well know, Carrie.
Hopefully she hasn't made it this far in the episode, but yes. So yeah, Johnny Depp is in this. I don't think I ever knew that was Johnny Depp until like a minute ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Really good hair and makeup.
Great.
Oh yeah, this is back when Johnny Depp was still trying.
Tim, did they win for any makeup type work for Oscars or
Oh,
nominations?
they must have. I don't actually know offhand, but it would feel bizarre for them to have not been.
For costumes, for sure, too, I would think. There was some interesting costuming there.
There is. But rewatched it, still scary.
Yeah, again, it's the Tim Burton vibe. It's just that's a specialty. Even if you watch the Alice in Wonderland things or Willy Wonka, like any of those types of things, he just has like a quirky sensibility that evokes a bit of a scare, especially in the young ones.
All right, Tim, give us your number 3. I think it's going to be on my list.
So my number 3 is not on your list. It's not on anybody's list. So what I was trying to get at with my number 3 is the sort of, what are the things that are scary that aren't horror? And one of the things I landed on was the kind of like otherworldly, creepy weirdness of like fairy tales and fantasy, where it's not that anything is actively scary, but everything is just sort of so clearly unpredictable and inhuman that it kind of becomes ghostly.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, again, trying to find the sweet spot of getting to a sort of ghostly sensibility without actually having ghosts, which would turn it into horror. So what I landed on basically was a fairy tale movie from 1946. This is the French version of Beauty and the Beast, directed by Jean Cocteau, which is just this really sort of hazy, misty. There's an old creepy castle and we don't see things, and it's based on the sort of original version of the story. So the servants are just invisible. They're not magical talking objects as they are in the Disney film. And that sort of creates the sense of like the otherworldly and ghostliness, like what's bringing the food and who's like living in this place with her. And then there's this very famous image from the movie of these hands just holding like hands sticking out from the wall holding candelabras, but they're hands of like actors, so they sort of move and like bend things around. It's all sort of slightly creepy and strange. And of course there's a beast. There's a big old human beast, and that's kind of the centerpiece of any version of the story. And I think if you're young enough, or if the beast is well enough designed, the beast is always going to be a little scary, right? And I actually flirted with putting the Disney film on here for the same reason, because I think parts of that movie really did give me that kind of shudder of scariness when I was a child. Ended up breaking the tie in favor of the 1946 version, largely because it continued to get that kind of shiver of like, ooh, something is weird here, out of me at a much more advanced age than the Disney film did.
I thought about some Disney films.
Ursula.
Oh, I don't want to spoil it. Do you have any Disney films, Kara?
No.
Okay, Tim, any Disney films?
Nope.
I thought about Pinocchio a lot because there's smoking in there, and that really creeped me out too.
Yep.
Like, and Pinocchio turns into the donkey.
Yes.
And like I was like, oh wow.
I forgot Fantasia.
Fantasia's a little spooky.
Those pink elephants as a kid were like, ugh. Those were really scary.
Spencer from Dumbo.
Forgot about that. I should have had Dumbo on here, but no, Ursula for sure. And then Tim, I'm with you. There's one scene in the animated Beauty and the Beast that as a kid freaked me out, and it's when he's mad at her and he has this look that they capture in his face where he's just filled with rage because she went in the wing that she wasn't supposed to go into, and he was scary when he was mad.
Interesting, because I find that scene scarier before he finds her, because we don't know what's going on. But I think then you would probably not actually find the Cocteau version as scary, because it's much more that like Maurice in the castle doesn't know what's going on sort of vibe. Like it's more the implication of sort of spookiness.
Okay.
But the 46 version is still very good. I think you actually would both like it. It's just a very extraordinarily well-made version of the story with a terrific beast.
Sounds good. I'm tempted to see it now.
Well, I'm moving past my childhood with my number 3. We're into adulthood now, and these tend to be more movies that kind of just make me cringe and like I just don't like what happens in them. They scare me. What happens to humanity scares me.
Okay.
And so
Climate change.
No, it's less about that. It's more about like I don't care about. I care about people devolving into their basic selves, and movies that do that really well and showcase what that looks like, or have a view of that with certain things, like, really bother me.
Okay.
So this is a 2008 film by a director who I thought hadn't done anything else since. So I think it's a movie that is underseen. Honestly,
I don't know where you're going here.
it's a plot that I think you would really like, Care.
Okay.
But I don't.
Apocalyptic?
Yeah, a little
Okay.
bit. Yeah, oh yeah, no, it definitely is. It's when you watch this, or Perfect Senses.
Yes.
This is the better version of that.
I find that very hard to believe, Rob.
This is a city that is ravaged by an epidemic of instant white blindness, and it's not Bird Box, because basically that's what happens in Bird Box too.
I like Bird Box too.
Yeah, it's basically like it's 2008 Bird Box, but like shot really, I think, by a really
I'm
more
intrigued.
elegantly.
I'm intrigued.
But what happens is, people start, and it starts spreading. Mark Ruffalo's in this, Julianne Moore, Gail Garcia Bernal is in this, and so people just start going blind. They don't know why. So they start quarantine, like putting them in places, because
Okay.
they're worried it's going to spread. But lo and behold, one person can see.
Uh-oh.
It's Julianne Moore. But so everybody's going blind.
So you're saying the entire world is blind except Julianne Moore?
We're not sure. Like, we're kind of we believe it is widespread.
Okay.
But we're with this kind of more like group of, I don't know, like 100, 200 people that have been quarantined in a facility because they're not sure what to do with these individuals. They don't know how to cure them. They don't know if it's contagious. So the government has stepped in and but
they're
what happens
blind
is,
too. The government's blind.
Exactly. So the world starts falling apart. Now there's no one to, they're locked in these facilities, and no resources or minimum or small. So what happens in scenarios like that, at least from this writer's point of view, is,
Don't tell me.
society, who rises to the top.
Why did it have to be Julianne Moore?
So there are situations that happen in this movie that just are
they bumping into each other, or?
Yeah, well, they have to set up. I think you'd be interested in how the things it asks the question, what would you do? What would daily life? How do you go to the restroom? Like, how do you make sure you're not just all shitting in the same place?
How do you not
the
shit in
movie
the same place?
addresses these things.
I know, but just tell me that part.
No.
No, I kind of want
it's
to
part
know.
of the fun.
You can spoil it for me.
But, and also, what I love
Is it
about
a smell thing? Oh, I bet you have to smell your way to the bathroom.
there is the element also. The neat thing is that the twist I like is that Julianne Moore can see. So she's witnessing.
Just sitting eating popcorn, watching it all go
It becomes
down.
a superpower. Yeah, but there's also, again, the situation devolves a bit, and there are people who rise to the top who are in charge because they have access to something that nobody else has that allows them to do things. And
Glasses.
yeah, there's a class system that is.
No, I said glasses.
Oh,
No.
glasses.
She said glasses.
Yeah, no.
Oh wait, we put these on and we could see. So
They say classes of people, but
I am going to watch this. So, all right, Tim, we have a list of like
Have you
12
have you
movies
seen this,
that-
Tim?
You haven't even said the
I have
title.
seen this.
Blindness. Blindness.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. And what?
Blindness from 2008.
Yeah. Are you? It looks like it's getting mixed critic reviews. I don't. You probably gave it a 3.
I gave it a 4 out of 10 back when I was still using it.
Okay.
Out of 10.
Oh, you had my
I was
hopes.
like,
you had my hopes
whoa.
up there, but yeah, Tim knows what goes down in this facility. It's not good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I would fare well personally.
Yeah.
I think what I would do, my strategy personally would be to just find a corner and just never move until somebody could resolve the issue for me. That would be my plan. I don't
Yeah.
want to get touched. I'm not a big...
Oh, then you wouldn't like this scenario because
Oh, yeah.
there's again base human kind of things that occur.
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't want to
and-
be touched at all.
Yeah, there would be that.
You know what I would do? I'd have you go fetch me things. I'd sit in the corner and then I'd be like, Rob, you go get me a snack and things like that, and like sort of send you out on little chores, and then you could come back to me. I tie a little string to your belt loop.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I got plans.
Oh, good.
I think I'm
you
going to
would-
do fine in this world.
You would be just fine.
Oh, amazing.
But yeah, that one's that kind of stuff bothers me. So it's
Yeah.
horrifying to me to see it devolve and because
Human
it
behavior.
just seems like it's possible. Like this is what would happen in this scenario.
We're putting this on the watch list, Rob. I'm going to watch this with you.
All right, so we went through at least 3. Tim 4 because Carrie Stoll's number 1. So we'll jump to our break. We'll jump to our break and then get back with our remaining 2 and in Tim's case 1. But before we head to our break, you might be wondering about ways to support the show. Head out to our Patreon, get early access and exclusive content, make us watch a movie, pick your own episode topic, and more from our Patreon site. Tim just talked about The Neverending Story. We're doing a trivia night later this month as well.
27th.
On the 27th. Is that we locked that in, or you just throwing
locked
out
it
dates?
in.
Oh wait, well, locked in trivia night for all of our watch party. That's at the Razzie Award and up. Joining us new to Patreon this month is Simon Proud and David, who joined at the It's Nice to Be Nominated level. And then we also have folks moving up. Cocker Spaniel 1999 jumped up to claim the Razzie Award, and then Rachel Ann jumped up to the $5 award tier for Sundance.
That is so fantastic. And again, so excited. I think that they can come out and do trivia with us. We keep getting bigger and bigger crowds for that, and I keep getting worse and worse. Mm-hmm. So just really, really, really enjoy doing that. So I'm so appreciative that Brennan hosts it.
Very well.
Yeah, also celebrating anniversaries in the month of May is Ellie Cook, Caleb Wimble, Riona, contributor for the site as well, and Dan Morgan as well, celebrating their anniversaries this month. Yeah, happy anniversaries, y'all. Also want to touch on, I think you've all, I don't know if anybody's actually been anticipating it or excited, but I am a little tardy on starting Amateur Hour. I have all the things that I need. I just need time.
Amateur.
Just time to talk about my latest film project, kind of documenting the ups and the downs, and just of someone who's never made.
I'm going to push back on the use of the word latest, implying that you've had a large number of film projects, of which this is merely the first one.
No, this is the first time, and if you want to follow the journey of that, I am committing to launching the podcast this week, kind of starting things off because things are going to start picking up really fast. I don't want to lose track of the way that things are. I'm started journaling electronically of the process. So
you've been journaling?
Well, I am required to.
I asked you to journal with me about gratitude, and you never
one
did that.
must need to be grateful for something in order to journal about it.
Oh, that hurts. That one stings.
Yeah. So no, yeah, looking forward to that as well too. So yeah, look for Amateur Hour coming to your podcasts later this week, and then more and more people keep grabbing the merch. We see the pictures showing up on Discord. We got ours. I drank from my cup, IMDb top 250 Cinephile cup the other day.
And it was delicious.
Made it taste extra good.
I was really, really worried about the t-shirts, that they were going to be uncomfortable and scratchy. I am a self-identified t-shirt snob. And so I was really worried. I had done all this fact checking on what's the right pot and collie blend and all of that kind of stuff, cotton poly. And
I like pot and collie.
Pot and collie blend. And so I was like, what if these shirts are terrible? They came, they're so soft. They're so flexible. I don't like when anything clings to me. They're not clingy. So I have my t-shirt and I'm really, really excited to wear it every day.
Yeah. No, they're very nice. Yeah, we got merch out there. Carrie's working on putting a merch link out there, but you can find it in the podcast notes as well, if you mind dropping that in later, Care.
I sure will.
In the meantime, also have some reviews. People were kind enough to drop in and leave a review on iTunes.
Yes.
Any to share, Care?
Thank you, Mbala_MLA. I think I know who this one is, and this is a particularly funny one. I have a guess, and it's a particularly funny one. So, one of the best shows in my feed, a podcast that has brought me so much unfettered joy. There is not a single episode of Alternate Ending that hasn't given me at least one genuine belly laugh. You can tell that this is truly a labor of love for Rob, Carrie, and Tim. Indeed. Come for the thoughtful commentary on the art film and the feeling it gives us. Stay for Carrie explaining to Tim what she means by Rob's ball towel.
Yes. Nice.
I forgot about your ball towel.
Yeah.
Still using it.
Never forget about the ball towel.
Well, I know. Still using it every day.
Well, thank you for the reviews.
Yes, thank you for the reviews. If you guys can go out there, rate us or leave a comment, we really, really appreciate that.
Also want to thank all of our listeners who support the show and make their Amazon purchases through our site. Doing it is easy. Just go to our website, alternateending.com. Click on our Amazon banner and seamlessly go about your purchases. All proceeds go to making our show better. Since our last episode, here were the things that were purchased. We had a little Andalou Naturals Happy Day Cream.
What's an Andalou?
Andalou is the name of the brand, I believe.
Okay.
It's a Happy Day Cream.
Happy Day. Is that like a CBD?
Well, that would certainly make it happy. I
mean, my assumption was that it was some sort of skin cream.
That's where I was
that made
going.
Your skin feel happy, but apparently it carries a pothead now. So I think we need to respect that.
CBD is not pot, but no.
There are things that make people happy other than being stoned out of their mind, Karen.
Yeah.
Just because you can only feel positive things when you're chasing the dragon does not mean the rest of us cannot.
I'll need a list. I'll need some ideas.
Perhaps this was a pairing. We also had body moisture, moisturizer for dry skin, extra virgin coconut oil, nourishing hand, very restorative. It sounds very restorative, yeah.
Look at these elbows.
Oh, yeah.
I need that.
Don't go out like that.
I know.
Yeah.
I never will.
We also had books and textbooks purchased. It's called Stranger in My Own Country. I feel like that sometimes.
Do you?
Yeah.
Where are you going to go so that you don't feel like a stranger?
I don't know. Just go live alone in the Maldives.
This
dark.
This is This is a therapy session for you, I think. In fact,
also had a wall charger, a block wall charger, so you plug in, multiple things, adapters and things. I love. They always go missing. You ladies always take them. And,
we don't
take them places. I can't find chargers. Anywhere.
I don't even know what to do with what was just said. I assume you mean the three women you were related to, Rob, and not the.
Oh yes, I did.
The entirety of the female race.
No. I just meant the girls in my household.
We steal all of his chargers. He thinks it's our fault, and so whenever he can't find one, he just bulk orders like 5 more, and then
eventually there'll be enough where they're plugged into every wall outlet. And
I know that's your goal. That's your dream.
In the meantime, we also had clothing and accessories purchased. We had a little boy's handmade pre-tied pattern bow tie.
Oh,
that's very sweet.
Send a picture.
Little dinosaur pattern.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's cute. I don't even know these things exist, but I guess you still could need an external DVD drive with a USB-C, so that'll plug into
Fucking hell, yeah. I actually am in the market for an external Blu-ray drive.
Yeah, you burn it. I guess burning DVDs, Blu-rays, Blu-ray burner.
Tim's like this person and Tim are the only ones that are currently using this.
It has been a major inconvenience in my life that thanks to that asshole Steve Jobs, we don't have optical drives on laptops anymore. It actually causes at least twice a year.
Explain to me the need, though.
Deal with it.
So you're taking something digital, and you're like,
yes.
Oh, I'm going to put that on this Blu-ray disc, but why? You can just
other way around.
Oh,
other way around. It's getting stuff off of Blu-rays, getting stills and video clips for
Got it. Okay. Yeah, damn you, Steve Jobs. Also, speaking of computers and computer items, also had Amazon Basics a USB 2.0 male to micro B cable. Also had a monoprice USB Type A to micro B cable. A lot of connections being made.
Yeah.
Electronic connections. 6-foot extension cord as well. Purchased. Audio cable, 15-foot male to male for headphones, car, audio, all of those things. Electronic components for home and audio. Had a lightning to HDMI adapter.
Man.
I think it's, you know what it is?
People are powering up.
People are losing things because the people in their household are not putting them back in the right places. So there's a lot of reorders happening for cables. Also had a 20-foot gold-plated 4K HDMI cable. Love that. Can go up all the way up to 2160p. And that is 4K. That's for your TVs, Blu-rays, PS5s, etc.
I still think 4K is just a sham.
It is not. It is absolutely not. Tim, do you have thoughts?
2160p is not 4K.
Oh, it's not?
It's 2K.
Oh, thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tim.
A little fact check there.
As a guy who teaches formats, it's just I know.
You weren't going to let that one slip.
Gotta get it in there.
Yeah, thank you.
Gotta do it.
I love that that's what bothered you and not that 1080p doesn't look or looks just as good as 4K.
I mean, that's an opinion. 2160 being 2K is a fact.
That's true. You fact checking me. We also had some AAA batteries purchased, the Duracell brand, long lasting.
Those do last a long time.
This is interesting. Magnetic shower curtain weights. I like that idea because sometimes the curtain kind of goes all over the place. So this helps keep it in place. Also,
we have those.
Do we?
Yeah.
Where?
So our kids shower upstairs.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that. They have to take a shower every other day or so. Yeah. They sometimes need help. I don't know if you know that too. But yes, in their bathroom, there is the weights on the bottom.
And explain to me why is there always a puddle of water on the ground
because
that
our
I
kids
clean
are
up?
Terrible, and they don't dry off before they get out. They just come out completely sopping. Then they stand there. They complain that they're cold. after they've dropped all the water onto the floor, they towel off.
Got it. You know what could help there is like this person bought some floor mats.
Wait a moment. Did you say 2160 or 2048?
2160.
That is a vertical resolution that is 4K, but we would refer to that as 4096 across, not 2160. I'm sorry. Something was niggling at the back of my ears. I couldn't figure out what it was.
Yeah, you know what? We would have got a lot of people right in about that.
They were gonna
I mean,
complain.
this is we're in my yard right now. This is where I live.
Yeah.
It's talking about resolution.
People were going to stop listening because it was so not fast.
I was going to stop recording.
You know what else our kids aren't super good at is putting their dirty clothes away. A hamper could help that. We got a hamper collapsible for a large clothes basket with an easy carry lift handle. Also had slip solutions on the dot suction soap saver in white. I think that's the thing that goes on. Maybe like you pour it in and like you do one at a time. Like sometimes in hotels they have those now. I love when a hotel has that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do
Versus
too.
the little bottles. Although you love keeping those but that's good because you're not just a single use on that little hotel bottle.
I am a 90-year-old woman. I leave with all the soaps and the mouthwash and all of the hygiene products that are available to me.
Oh my gosh, you got this for Mother's Day. Someone also got probably was in a hurry and saw it was the number one thing offered, was a mom's blanket, like the blanket with the mom on it.
You said that was from the heart.
And but it was also when Abby was trying to Google last minute gifts,
wow,
like still available that we'll get here on Mother's Day. That was top of the list.
Do you?
Way to throw Abby under the bus, Rob.
Yeah.
That's super cool of you.
Don't you know that in some marriages you're supposed to lie?
But it's very sweet.
That's like a fact that I didn't need to know.
Didn't you hear him blame your daughter? It's not his fault. It's your stupid child's fault.
I tried messaging her. Our youngest was very sweet and proactively reached out to me while I was traveling. And was like, I picked this out for mommy. It's to the moon and it's I love you to the moon and back necklace. Very sweet.
So sweet. I always liked that kid better. Gosh.
And I tried to get a hold of Abby and she just wasn't responding.
She's like, Mom, do I even have a
finally
mom?
got home and I asked, like, we got to order something. And
she's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Make sure it's search $20 and under and sort by what can get here fastest.
We also had a sink sink strainer purchase.
This is a huge list.
Yeah, so we got a lot, and this is all just in the last week. Kindle ebooks. We had The Descent to the Chariot, The Writings of Luke and Jewish Roots of the Christian Way.
Or page turner.
Kitchen and dining. We had Star Trek: The Original Series Spock embroidered science officer logo, lunchbag tote. That's sweet.
Not something I would buy.
Yeah. I think it's going to work out for those who are Star Trek fans. Mandy's going to maybe do a little interview with potentially Seth MacFarlane and some of the cast and crew of The Orville.
Oh, cool.
That's pretty cool. She's pretty psyched about it. Hopefully that works out. You can see it on the site. We also had a Honda rear wheel assembly. We need a new wheel for our
car.
Nope. Wheelbarrow. Our wheelbarrow requires a new car. Also, that Honda.
Your wheelbarrow requires a new car.
Oh, sorry. A new wheel. I'm tired. Honda drive belt was also purchased. I'm assuming those.
I wish they bought a Honda. That would be a really good.
That would get our 3% would be pretty big.
That would be awesome.
You can buy dumbbells on Amazon. So
I got two right here. What do I need more for? Hey.
And then lastly, we had 2 video on demand rentals, one for Wyatt Earp and then one for Downfall.
Oh.
Speaking of video on demand, the difference between 4K and 1080p is as much about color fields as it is about resolution. You just get a broader spectrum of more detailed color. It's especially good for reds.
Well, there you go. That's why I love the reds. Thank you, Tim.
I've been trying to do this thing lately, Tim, where I zone out things that I don't need to actually process. So I'm going to put that in that there category. So thank you.
Well, when we get back, our remaining scary movies, scary movies that aren't
horror
movies.
That aren't horror movies.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to get it by the end, Rob.
And welcome back to Alternating. We're talking about our remaining picks for our top 5 scary movies that aren't horror, Kara. You're left with 2. I'm left with 2. Tim's left with 1. Let's you and I go first, Kara, then we can round it out with Tim.
Okay. So the next one that's on my list is going to be I'm going to be a spoiler. You're going to know what it is, Rob, because my mom always talks about it. She showed this to me as a child, and I couldn't sleep for days. I was horrified. I was sad. I was scared. And I blamed my mom for years. And I was like, I can't believe you showed that to me. I question your judgment as a mother for having showed this to me.
Did your parents record a sex tape?
This is absolutely not something that would ever happen. But that now I've lost my train of thought. I felt like a really bad mental diversion. And my mom still talks about it. And so I did recently rewatch this with the girls. And I still contest this is horrifying. There's vulgarity. There's divorce. There's a situation where the protagonist, I don't know if he's actually a protagonist, the lead of the movie ends up looking sort of like a dog turd that's been like aged for a while sitting outside. The scene at the end of this movie still haunts my dreams. This is E.T.
Oh, you saw this again recently?
Yeah, we watched it with the kids.
Recently?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like in the last year.
Oh, okay.
And I called my mom and I was like, Ma, I was right. This is still awful and horrifying and tragic and scary. And
so you have a few Spielbergs on there. Spielberg, yeah, I think Spielberg leans, like, he definitely takes on some horror elements.
Do you remember when he turns
He understands the good value, like a good bit of just like tension or spookiness or horror can add to anything.
Yeah. And do you remember at the end when he turns all white and crispy?
He does look like a dog poo.
He does look like a dog poo. And I just remember being like, why, Mom, would you show this to me? I called her right up again. I said, I confirmed it. It's terrible. But I was horrified when I saw this as a kid and cried and couldn't sleep and all the things that horror does for a child. So this was, is it PG, by the way?
It sure is.
Yeah.
And
That's
I think
PG.
I think it still would. No, it'd be PG-13, right? Because at the time it was either R or PG, right?
They say penis breath in there. As a kid, I remember.
I think it would be a PG for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
You guys weren't scared by this? I feel like you're not even.
I'm with you. I wasn't.
It's got spookiness in it, but I'm more sad than scared.
Did you think that he is an alien? His alien look wasn't also vibing with me. I thought he was a little bit scary of a visual alien too. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's the big eyes. Again, I go back to the big eyes. So anyway, that was my number 2. All right. Rob, what's your number 2?
All right. It is one again that stuck with me. Haven't seen it. You've been wanting to watch it, Kara, but I will not watch it with you. It shows the horror of drug use in such a way that I think there is no better film to get kids to stay off drugs. And that is,
I know what it is.
Darren Aronofsky's Requiem for a Dream. Another person who is, I mean, I think like things like Black Swan and I haven't seen Mother, but I don't know if those would be classified as horror, but certainly I think Black Swan is a thriller at the very least. But
I believe I have a horror tag on my review of Black Swan.
Okay, but Requiem for a Dream is not a horror, but it is horrific. And just watching these individuals fall into their respective drug uses, and then like kind of the downfall that occurs with each of them in their own unique ways. Like there's some gore for sure. For one, I guess a little bit more graphic kind of things happening with another. Mental, like just losing your mental state for another person. So yeah, like you kind of witness like all the effects, all the potential effects of drug use.
Are they using the CBT?
Yeah, it's just all from CBD.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not curriculum-based training.
That's it.
But
cannabinoids. Damn it.
Yeah.
So yes, the CBD.
Do you still have interest in seeing this, Carrie?
I can't, you always are so cryptic and vague about why I would find it horrifying. Like you're always like, oh, there's drugs and like it's pretty dark. Like you'll say stuff like that, but I don't feel like I have a clear understanding, which then ends up making me a little bit more enticed because I'm like, what if I do like it?
I imagine that we're going to be getting some worth mentioning requests or Sundance Grand Jury Prize requests for this at some point. I would probably, I imagine a movie like Grave of the Fireflies will end up on.
I'll decline.
We've been asked to watch it.
We have. Yes. I said I was never going to watch that.
So that's going to be another one that would,
Great.
I think, fall on this list. Like,
that's just tragic.
This is the kind of list that I'm building. Is a Grave of the Fireflies type of list for myself. So,
all right.
Do you find Requiem for a Dream horrifying, Tim, or did you find it?
I think it would qualify. I find it harrowing. Certainly, it's very exhausting and miserable.
Yeah.
I think it's horrifying. I think I would use that word.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Tim, you're left with your number 2. Do you mind?
I got nothing left with my number 2, which is a film about a world that is dying of the plague. Death literally stalks this world in the form of a pale figure in a robe, but is definitely not a horror film. Is in fact a very severe-minded art film about the nature of God and faith. So it's what you get when you have an Ingmar Bergman movie that's got some really horrifying moments, but it's clearly not a horror movie. And I am, of course, referring to 1957's The Seventh Seal, which I think you guys would both really enjoy.
Did they remake that with Demi Moore, or was that The Seventh Sign?
That is The Seventh Sign. It has nothing whatsoever to do with this film. But no, classic art film. Basically, yeah, exactly what I said. A knight returns from the Crusades to find that his beloved home of Sweden is just completely overrun by the Black Death. And when faced with such indescribable monstrosity as a world that is dying, he does the only thing he can, which is to demand that God explain why this is going on. And that while he's doing this, he fends off death by playing chess with death. And it's mostly just playing to try to get to a stalemate, because obviously you can't ever beat death.
So this is where they get it for Bill and Ted's.
This is where they get that from, 100%.
Okay.
Can you spoiler and say what does God have to say about it?
God refuses to answer, because if God answered, then it would be a comfort. This is not a comforting film. This is a sad film. It's our film. It's also kind of weirdly funny. Like, there's a scene where Death is going to chop down a tree to get at the person who's run up a tree to hide from death, and he's just like standing over there with a saw and a ladder, and it's kind of weirdly hilarious.
You would find this a good chuckle out of a movie like this.
It's actually a pretty funny movie.
I'm trying to think if I would like this.
I think
it's
you would.
Yeah, it's if you would just need to
I
stay
think
away
we should
for
find out. I think there's only one way to learn if you would like it or not.
Is it a little bit like Meet Joe Black?
Very little.
Very little. Okay.
Yeah.
I did like Meet Joe Black. So I like grappling with God.
It's also it's really good black and white cinematography. It has thunder, so it'd freak you out, Rob, because it's got thunderstorms.
Oh gosh, that thunder.
So there you go. And everyone in the movie, Carrie, every last character has skin.
Oh. What about the smoking?
I don't recall there being any smoking offhand.
Okay, so medium scary.
So
scary.
I want to know, Carrie, like your number 1 has to just be an amalgamation of all of those things, right? Like all of the things that scare you in this. I have no idea what it could be.
Oh gosh, this one got me as a kid. It's skin melt. Like I said earlier, it is bad dental hygiene. I have issues with that. This is scary villain too. There's an evil, really, really scary queen in this as well. And mostly, again, I go back to the thing that mostly stands out for me is the fur and skin that has haunted my dreams. I did watch it again, even though I did not want to, because I was so scared when I saw this the first time. And I did not cover my eyes because it was one of those things like I didn't know it was coming. So it just sprung upon me and I had no time to react. My parents weren't there to be like, Carrie, close your eyes. So I saw this all firsthand as a very small child. And this is the likes of one, what is his name?
Clearly prepared.
It's a good question.
His name is
good question.
one. I was trying to be dramatic, so cut that out. The likes of one Warwick Davis.
Oh, sure. Willow. Yeah, sci-fi fantasy. Fantasy.
It's actually pronounced Warwick.
Warwick.
There's a double. It's Warwick There's a
He's
W
English.
in there. Warwick.
His dad's probably Welsh. It's not even English. It's
You know what?
Warwick.
I think this is maybe a miss for me. I think I would have put this on my list.
Do you remember those hairy pigs?
Oh yeah, no. This is no. Of course I remember.
Do you remember when their skin comes off?
You're not. You don't need to sell me. I've just
Okay.
said it's like a potential miss for me. I could have easily seen this on my list. It's definitely a scary movie that isn't horror, and fantasy definitely goes there. Like I would say, any of the Lord of the Rings films, you could potentially say have scary elements. There's certainly some jump scares, and funny because. From horror directors, Peter Jackson kind of having horror roots.
This was Ron Howard.
No. I'm saying
One of our greatest horror directors.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Written by George Lucas. I also remember
Great
thinking
horror
Mad
writer,
Mardigan
too.
was super, super, super scary. I want to admit something that I'm not proud of, and it's
Scary how hot he is, I think you mean.
that's what I was gonna say.
Who, Val Kilmer?
I think so. As a kid, I was scared by him. As an adult, I was like, "Hey, Mad
I know.
Mardigan." I took a turn.
I am not quite sure why you feel like admitting that you think 80s Val Kilmer is hot feels like a secret admission that you're embarrassed by, but thank you for sharing.
Isn't he supposed to be kind of scuzzy?
No.
He's not
No.
scuzzy.
Oh,
I'm curious if Carrie.
He was supposed to be Harrison Ford in this particular movie because he's very clearly supposed to be Han Solo.
I see. I don't think this could have been pulled off by Harrison Ford. This needed to be one Val Kilmer with
no,
the
like
long
a,
dark
a
hair.
Harrison Ford type character.
Oh, I see. I thought you meant. He was
But
like a
what's
backup.
interesting? I'll be curious to see if Carrie's love of Val continues into the Top Gun Maverick because we'll be seeing it.
So I have a question on that. I saw a preview of that today. Actually, is he in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, and I don't want to. Oh, is he? we know
Oh,
that for
I'm
sure.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Bleep it out.
Spoiled
Bleep it out. Oh, I just saw a
Well,
picture of him.
I didn't want to know.
Oh, okay. I don't know if he'll be there because I thought he was having some challenges, so I wasn't sure if he would be there. But I did see him in a photo frame, like a picture of him. So I was like, maybe they'll just do that to refer to him. But I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, I had the hots for Val Kilmer big time after The Saint. And then again, Mad Mardigan, pretty sexy.
Cool. Well, I'm
I
left.
feel like
Oh, go ahead.
I would probably put Willow as a gross out movie more than a horror scary movie, but I think that is a fine distinction, and I otherwise approve because it got under my skin, as it were, when I was a child.
You know what else gets under your skin, Tim? Viruses.
Ooh.
They get in your body. Nothing more scary than a virus that spreads around the world, which is why my number one pick is Contagion.
Oh,
What?
that
Why are
didn't
you
scare me.
Are you serious? Yes,
I
it
mean,
did.
I mean, it
We
did
watched
scare
it.
me.
We watched it. Did you watch it for the? Did you watch it for the first time, or was it the second time after COVID started? Because we were like when COVID was starting, I was like, we should watch Contagion.
Yeah.
And was that the first time you saw
No,
it?
that was the second time
Okay.
I had seen it.
That's a freak out movie.
You know what? To be fair, that wasn't ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I don't know that I would say that I was
Again,
but I
horrifying.
think that was
Horrifying.
meant to be a scary movie.
But it's not a horror. So we're picking movies that are scary, that
I
are
think
not
that's
horror movies.
I think it's a scary horror movie. I think.
I mean, I will certainly vouch that it is not horror, but I think it's done as such a procedural that I don't really find it scary.
Yeah, it's what happens for me with Humanity just always scares me. And then there's the scene that always gets me.
The wife scene.
The wife scene with Matt Damon where he goes and he's
If I want to talk to my wife.
like I'll just talk to her. He's like, "Sir, your wife is
Oh, that's not scary. That's funny.
your wife has passed away."
Because
Oh, cool. So-
he's a big old dummy who doesn't realize that his wife is dead, and he keeps saying, "I want to see my wife," and the doctor's like, "Sir, your wife is dead," and it's like, what do I have to do to get it through this thick guy's skull? Am I right?
yeah.
I
I
think it's
think
pretty good shit.
when we watched this during the pandemic or at the very beginning, once we still were really in lockdown in that first couple months, I think we were both so freaked out about just the world that it made you in that particular scene were like, I think that's exactly how I would react. I would be like,
Oh,
in
you're just
disbelief.
dazed.
Yeah.
Well, you're tired. You've probably been watching the kids. Don't they lose a son? The son dies too.
Does he?
Yeah.
Well, it's implied that all of humanity is going to die, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's not spoil it. But
Oh, that Jude fucking Law with his and then because they had the thing what happened in reality, which was the horse tranquilizer that everybody was using. Jude Law had the same concept. Was like, I'm taking these drops.
Oh, yeah.
That's curing me. And because he was investing in the company on the side.
Such an idiot.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Oh my gosh, I'm going to watch it again.
Such an idiot. We lived this, like, it was literally a play-by-play of what happened
I know.
in reality.
I know.
Is happening, yeah.
It's horrifying. It's horrifying.
Those are our picks. I think those were good, but I think the audience might have something to say about it. Every week we ask you to submit your picks for our top 5. Based on those submissions, here were the audience top 5. At number 5, I just did a blend because people were throwing in some different Star Wars films and Indiana Jones movies, and there was no clear-cut number 5, so I just blended that together. So Star Wars can be scary, I believe, and it's not horror, so another George Lucas, and Indiana Jones, which also is George Lucas and Spielberg together. So there you go.
So George Lucas, scary man, but not a horrifying man.
Correct. At number 4, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I'm not the only one who was creeped out by that. I did cheat. I did see it on people's lists, and I was like, that was creepy.
That was creepy, yeah.
Number 3, a movie I've never heard of, Picnic at Hanging Rock.
See, that to me is comfortably a horror film.
Okay. How about this, Tim? We were talking about animation. None of us brought this up. At number 2, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Was I scared in that? Yeah, that witch was a little bit scary.
Yeah, I'd say the witch is scary. I don't think I could quite put it on this list, but I can see why someone would.
And then we have a consensus number 1, Tim, that I somehow feel you're going to have to defend because I think it should have been on your list here, and that's Inland Empire.
That's a horror film.
Well, then there you go.
Straightforwardly, every David Lynch film is a horror film other than Straight Story.
All right. Thanks a lot, audience. For
you dumb assholes. Yeah. you and Matt Damon should get together and be like, Matt Damon, where's your dead wife? And then it'll be because you're dumb like he is.
Our winner this week, let's see, hold on. Oh, yeah, you just called our winner a dumb too. Our winner this week is Zev Burrows, who said at number 5, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, 1984. Agree. Barton Fink, good pick. Who says buddy comedies can't be scary? I thought about Zev's number 3, Full Metal Jacket, not just the effects of war, but also the consequences of turning an outcast into a psychopath. At number 2, Inland Empire. Let's see Zev's defense here. Seeing it again a month ago gave me another vivid reminder of how physically unnerved I was the first time I saw it, but in the best possible way. I'm going to check IMDb after this, see what it calls it. At number 1, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Theoretically.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I am shocked by that. I did not think that. I think that's not the scariest.
It's the wicked queen hag disguise that haunted my nightmares for years as a child. Zev, shoot us. Go ahead.
I think if I had to pick the scariest Disney film, do I pick Snow White or do I pick Pinocchio? I think I pick Pinocchio.
Yeah, Pinocchio.
Snow White's a very respectable choice.
Yes. Zev, shoot us an email at contact@alternateending.com for details on how to claim your free Amazon movie rental. If you want to win a free Amazon movie rental like Zev, be on the lookout for our top 5 posts. In closing, I want to thank you all for listening. Head out to our Facebook page and like it, Twitter, where we're tweeting all the time, Instagram, we're Instagramming, alternateending.com, and find all our movie reviews, podcasts, and more, YouTube and Facebook for our videos. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Google, and don't forget about our Patreon. We're going to be doing a little Pass the Popcorn, bringing in some Patreon worth mentionings, possibly talking a little Doctor Strange spoilers, maybe, if we're still interested. Potentially some Men, talking about Men, what happened in that movie.
I got lots of thoughts. Got lots.
Yeah. And we will catch you then.
And I will just say quickly, as an apology to all of the listeners whose lack of intelligence I felt the need to call out, the IMDb agrees with you, so the IMDb also should go to Dummy Island with all of you. IMDb calls it a drama, fantasy, mystery thriller, but not a horror film.
Interesting.
Just send IMDb right there with them.
Yep.
We will catch y'all.
If you can read IMDb, if you can use the internet over there on Dummy Island, because you're dumb.
Thank you for being a listener.
We love you all.
Bye.